Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyana Habibina wa Tabibi Nufusina Ashrafil Anbiya'i wal Mursalina wal Qasim Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Alayhi tayyibin al-tahirin al-ma'sumin al-mazlumin. Siyama baqiyat Allah al-azam. بقيت الله خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصبي حقوقهم ومنكري فزائلهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله. Indeed, a day of sorrow, a day of sadness. On this day, we all together give our condolences, our tasliyat to our 12th Imam, the Imam of our time, Sheikh Mirza Abbas.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And also to all of the Shias and lovers of the Prophet, and particularly the great institutions of Najaf and Qum. We have gathered here tonight in order to commemorate the anniversary, the death anniversary of the Prophet and Imam Hassan Mushtaba, and we've been blessed with the honor to be in the service of Shahadat Kashmiri, who is the representative of Ayatollah Al-Uzma Sistani, located in London, Imam Ali Foundation. Most of the brothers and sisters might be aware of it. Initially, I would take the honor to thank Maulana Kashmiri for joining us on this occasion on behalf of Zahra Foundation, on behalf of Mu'mineen and Mu'minat here. Not taking much of your time and also Haji Agha's time as he has to go to another city. I just wanted to point out a few things which is quite important to reflect, particularly on a day of the demise of the Prophet. What was the message of the Prophet? What did Prophet bring to us? One of the greatest thing that we could find is that it is because of the wujud, because of the presence of the Prophet, our future life, our eternal life is saved. If it wasn't for the Prophet, we wouldn't have the opportunity to really have the Quran with us, to really have something to hope for the hereafter. It was because of the Prophet and because of the pains that he has taken, because of the pains of the Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, who have taken and protected the deen one after the other, by which we have the deen, the true deen of the Prophet with us today. And through this, we have not only saved our dunya, but more important than is the akhirah that is saved for us. And if you look at the important aspect of his message, was the message of unity, was the message of monotheism, of tawheed. So it's a message that we should understand and implement in our day-to-day activity, into day-to-day of our life, particularly when it comes to activities of our centers, our communities, that we stay and stand united. And as I mentioned last year, what we have today, particularly to this foundation, particularly to this center, is only because of that unity that exists among us. Indeed, Haji Agha will also point out to this, as he has traveled extensively in Europe and America and England, that he hasn't seen really a place where under one roof we have all communities commemorating, particularly in Europe. Maybe in America we do find this, but in Europe and England it's very less, very odd to see that they are all united. And that is the reason, the unity is the reason that we stand together today in this roof, in this building. Yadullah ma'al jama'ah. The hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with the jama'ah. The message of the Prophet was that. The message of Prophet was Tawheed, one of the message. Tawheed means unity. Ikhtilafat, multiplicity, is the work of shaitan. Because multiplicity stands right opposite to unity. So whatsoever be opposite to unity is multiplicity. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself in the Quran have pointed out to this very clearly. He says, قُلْ هُوَ الْقَادِرُ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَبْعَثَ عَلَيْكُمْ عَذَابًا. Allah have the power to send azab. And مِنْ فَوْقِكُمْ, from the above, مِنْ تَحْتِ أَرْجُلِكُمْ, underneath your feet. أَوْ يَلْبِسُكُمْ شِيَعًا, or He will put you in groups. So a community having ikhtilafat, people having differences, it is an indication of azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as we also celebrated yesterday, and I still can remember the words of Agha Kashmiri in Masjid of Imam Hussain in Dubai, at the demise of Imam Khomeini, one of the strongest speech that was given in that place was of Agha Kashmiri, upon the loss of Ayatollah Khomeini. So therefore, he himself has pointed out to Ramz-e Piruzi Kalem-e Wahdat, the secret of victory, the secret of success is really unity. And it is time that we ponder upon this day, we contemplate on the day of the demise of the Prophet, that we should, no matter what, have to stay and stand together, united, under the banner of the wilayat of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So therefore, the message which Prophet brought was the message of Tawheed. And the implementation of that into our lives in relation to the ahkamat will lead us towards that. In relation to the norms of the ijtima'at, the norms of the society, will lead us towards that Tawheed. In relation to the self-building in our spirituality, will also lead us towards that very Tawheed. So therefore, when the Imam Hussain even mentioning that I am leaving Medina, not in order that I would like to create any corruption or for any power, but I would like to create a reform. I would like to implement, I would like to walk upon the seerah of the Prophet of my Jad and of my father Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
So therefore, that was the very purpose of that uniting souls, mu'mineen and mu'minat, together to stand up for justice, to stand up for their rights, to stand up to practice their deen freely. That's why we find Imam Hussain alayhi salam continuously pointing out to that as well. So today, the day of the demise of the Prophet, as we recite in the Siyarat of Saturday, where Amirul Mu'mineen also have mentioned that the greatest of all musibat is that the connection of insan with the malakut, with the jabarut cuts. The wahi has been cut today because of the demise of the Prophet. The connection that we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way our Prophet connect to God, we have lost him. So it is really indeed a great loss. Loss where Janab Fatima Salamullahi alayha saying that it is very difficult for her to be away from the father, not only on the basis of emotion, not only on the basis of the qalb or heart, but she knows the value of wilayat. She knows the value of risalat. She knows that how important it is to be close to those beings who are spiritual and who could connect to God. So even for her, for that limited days, she was 70 or odd days, without the father, it was very difficult for her. And when the father says that you will be the first one to meet me,